Hi, and welcome to 5G Talent Talk. I'm Carrie Charles, your host, and I have a very special guest with me today, Mike Simpson. He is the Chief Procurement Officer of T-Mobile. Mike, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie, for having me and allowing us to discuss all things 5G.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's first talk about you, about your journey in telecom. How did you get to where you are today?
Yes, I'm getting close to 9 years at T-Mobile, but been in the industry for almost 17 now. So I spent time at Clearwire before T-Mobile, and then quite a few years at Nokia Networks. How I got to T-Mobile, Northwest native. T-Mobile has always been a big brand here in the Northwest. And, what better place to end up right now is in advancing our telecommunications industry and with the hometown club. So
what is your favorite, like your most favorite part of your job, of your role?
It never ceases to change. So there's always something net new on a weekly basis that you're chasing after. It's always good things, so right. So how to improve the business in a incremental step each and every day. So it's been a great journey here.
T-Mobile expects that the synergies resulting from the merger to reach 70 billion, I read, and that's higher than the 43 billion that was projected originally. So why the change?
Well, I think, just in regular T-Mobile fashion, we are doing things, advancing ourselves in the industry at a much faster clip than planned. Can't share them all, today with you, but there's a lot of great initiatives that support our ecosystem and our consumer base day in and day out.
That's exciting news. Good to hear. So what will the new T-Mobile workforce look like post-merger?
So I assume you're referring to, how we will go back to work in a post-COVID. And I think we're still trying to figure some of these things out, like many other large corporations. But there will be a mix of people that come back every day that want to, get a break from what they've been, accustomed to over the last 12 plus months. We'll introduce hybrid models into this where you give flexibility to your workforce. And we'll also enable those that want to work or have been working remotely to some extent for the better part of a few years. So it will evolve, I think, I think we all have to learn from this as we go back, is listen to our employee base and understand, what future needs may be. So I think a lot of unknowns still, and I think we're no different than many of the large corporations out there. We want to listen first, take some steps, and start getting somewhat back to normalcy in the next few months.
I love that you said listen. You said it twice, and it's so important to really hear what people are saying and what they want. And I think it's crucial as we just go back into, and we're really not going back necessarily, we're going into a whole new world, right?
Yes. Let's hope it's not just a brand new world, but maybe
right.
some things
Exactly.
will come back to what we used to have before. So
what have been some of the challenges in the post-merger integration of the suppliers? Will anything change in the future? Is it going to look the same?
So I think, we actually went about the merger in a little bit different way. We actually waited for the pandemic to hit and then decided to close on 4/1 of last year. So our supply base, in many respects, we were at an advantage. We were ready to go and build a network. We had some hiccups at the beginning of the pandemic and getting people to work and safely secure. But we were actually able to build quite faster than in normal times, like New York City as an example. Things are a little bit easier to go build networks when you don't have, traffic. We'll actually revert back to somewhat normal as people go back to work and cities and populations start going into the office in some form or fashion. I think our network providers, we're still dealing with this on a daily, weekly basis. You've got components made in India and China, and we see what's going on in India today, and it's terrible what that population is going through. It's learning more and more about your supply base on the component levels of where things are produced. So those things, we're more and more connected to our supply base than ever before. We're sharing more forecasts way up front. They're showing, risks in supply base that never, been willing to do before as well too. So
Right.
both those things are changing. And I think it's actually some of it's for the best.
Yes. Yes. I love that positive spin. So
Yep.
let's talk about 5G. Give me some updates. Where is T-Mobile now? What's on the horizon?
Yeah. So all public facts that we'll share is that we are on a quest to deliver 5G for all. So that is our big branding about how we want to rapidly expand into small town America. So we have initiatives there connecting all of consumers and have the ability to reach beyond. All the carriers have really not focused as much energy and effort. Our beautiful spectrum and our range of coverage in both low band and mid band allow us to do that. Progress to date, we'll start to show some numbers and earnings that we're attacking our goals on 200 million pops covered in mid band by end of the year. We also have low band coverage that you'll see coming out, and I don't want to spoil the surprises too early on that, but we are making rapid progress on our build activities, and the machine that we have doing this is just second to none.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see what you do. That's thrilling. So let's talk culture. What is it like to work for T-Mobile?
Well, I think our employees speak for themselves, and I think when we're surveyed in Forbes about one of the best places to work, I think that's kind of defines and tells the story of what the culture is here at T-Mobile. I mentioned listening a couple times in a previous question, and we have a focus on our employee base, similar to what we do with our customers. We listen to what our customers want, we listen to what our employees want, and we take action to deliver the best for both. To me, it's we are as successful as we are with our employee base for a reason. Diversity and inclusion is top of our minds and our ways of working. And I think that shows in the results that we produce to the street, but also produce from our employees when they're asked the question.
Yep. So we're going to talk about D&I in just a moment, but I've heard that it's awesome to be on your team. So what I want to kind of get a little peek into what it's like to be on your team, you as a leader, maybe some of the things that you do with your team, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we produce a lot of great work. I think we celebrate those successes in normal ways, together. We like to have a good time as well. It's been a little bit harder over the last year, but I think this, within procurement and the network supply chain teams that work for me, we are at kind of the center of all the action, right? And so, new initiatives, new things brought to the table, our teams are driving and delivering. So it's an exciting part of that journey. We have a network supply chain team that's energized, that's building at record pace in the U.S. So there's a lot of great energy on that stuff. But we try to step back a little bit and celebrate the wins and have a good time with it.
So I heard that you do something, coffee with Mike, once a month.
Well, it's not really coffee with Mike. It's kind of drinks of your choice with Mike.
Oh, okay, got it. That's fine.
But some people are
like
more.
You don't have to have coffee. You can have.
No. You can have water. You can have you can have something green.
Yeah,
whatever.
There you go. Green juice. That's mine. Yeah.
But yeah, so it started out as something we used to do lunch with Mike, about 2 years ago, and it's just actually just stopping and listening to my employees about what's going well, what's not. How do we fix those things? And it's just a way for people to connect at all levels of my organization.
Yeah. So important. So important. Let's talk about diversity a bit, because I know that diversity really fuels the uncarrier spirit at T-Mobile. So can you talk about diversity, but as it relates to T-Mobile's enterprise-wide employee focus, and also a little bit as it relates to supplier diversity? I know there's many different areas of diversity we could talk about right now.
Yeah, so I think, from a corporate culture, enterprise-wide, it's top of mind. It's one of our core values that we speak from every level, that we are a diverse company. We get more out of being that way from a diverse thought, diverse culture base, and really, speaking from every chair of this organization, that we're focused on doing right by all. And I think that's been key to our success over the last at least 9+ years that we've been on this ride. I think in my shop, I also have the supply base to manage through. And so, we have a mission to increase our spend and our visibility with diverse companies. and really not just diverse companies, but how they actually operate within as well. And you'll hear more about this in the future with us too, but we're not just interested in large corporations that happen to be diverse, but we want all companies, small business, medium, large. It's also how they treat their employees, and do they share the same values that we have in our company, and how do we spread more of this around to the entire tech sector. You may have seen some news recently from us of kind of walking the talk a bit, and we launched Next Tech. So that's our way of not only increasing our visibility and awareness of diversity and inclusion, but also investing in communities for jobs in the tech sector, which has been really not invested in enough over the last decade or two.
Tell me a little bit more about your Next Tech diversity program, because what was your motivation around creating it? And then a little bit more about how the program works, because I think it's brilliant and more companies need to do this.
Yeah, so it actually started pretty organically with a session with Mike. We'll call it drinks, or it may have been coffee or lunch, whatever it may have been back in the day. But an employee asked, in the technology division, there are not a lot of Black technicians or tower climbers in the space, and they asked, "What am I going to do about it?" And so I said, let's really in that organic session said, well, why don't we do something similar to what we've been doing with Warriors for Wireless and our partnership with the Tower Family Foundation, and let's start raising money and awareness and creating some jobs. And so a little over 6 months, we took that kind of basically almost a hallway conversation, pretty informal setting. And we partnered with Learning Alliance, who's a large training center and facility across the country. We had some outreach and some investment from Ericsson, so one of our large build partners. And we put together a program where we provide scholarships for training as well as job placement for graduates to enter into the field technician and technology landscape that never really existed yet. And so focuses on people of color and diversity there. And we're proud to say that we had our first graduating class, and all graduates have jobs post that training session. So it takes us all to go and invest some time, energy, and money, and I think we can all do better from that.
I love the fact that it was talked about in a meeting, and then you said, let's do it, and then it was done.
Yep.
And I think that that's really what's difficult for, we're moving so fast these days, and I can tell that you have a heart to make a difference, and I'm sure that resonates throughout T-Mobile, I can tell. But that ability to take action and say, look, this is important. This is just as important as everything else, right? And I think that's great. So I read that T-Mobile is committed to energy sustainability. How has your team, the procurement team, driven success here?
Yeah, we actually, this is part of the reason you asked the question, what's it like in my organization? And it's different from a traditional procurement shop. We create a lot of different things for the ecosystem. And so, my organization kind of, again, came up with an idea of how do we invest in off-grid or sustainable energy, like wind farms and solar farms, and producing enough clean energy that really captures all of our energy output. And we were able to work with our amazing team in enterprise to form a commitment about how fast we could actually deliver that energy creation to really at least offset our energy output on the grid. So, that's been, I think, 3 or 4 years in the making on this. And I'm proud to say that we will hit that target at the end of this year. The merger and acquisition of Sprint. So we doubled down and just said there's no change in timeline. We will do both at the same time commitment. So proud to say that my team is at the heart of that great initiative. So
look at all you've accomplished in, the merger and then COVID, and you just kept going and putting these programs together. So congratulations. You didn't stop.
It's my team that delivers all the credit. So, but yes.
As a great leader should say, that's good. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So tell me more about this event that you lead the event every year. I guess it benefits the Tower Family Foundation you talked about, and Warriors for Wireless. What is the event, and how have you supported those organizations over the years?
Yeah. So again, this has actually predated me a little bit, but we started a golf tournament really in to raise awareness and money for two great causes. So Tower Family Foundation supports families that, of injuries from this business and this line of work in tower technicians, as well as Warriors for Wireless that creates opportunities similar to the Next Tech initiative, but really focused on, military veterans. And so, this thing started out pretty small. We raised a little bit of money the first couple of years, and we really started amping this up with our great partner community and our supply base. And I think, we've delivered quite a bit of value to these two outfits, exceed $1 million over this journey. And we even included it last year during COVID times. We couldn't get on the golf course, but we did a virtual party and a meeting amongst these teams. And I think that was our largest contribution to date. So, even during tough times, our partner community and T-Mobile raised their game yet again. So the goal is each and every year we get a little bit more, we get more focus and energy for these great charities. So,
are you going to have an in-person event in 2021?
That is the plan, Carrie. We will do this. Hopefully, it's going to be early to mid-October is the current plan, and we will. We'll get launching on this. We had to delay it a little bit, and we hope that it's a success and we can turn it into an in-person. If not, we'll go back to virtual and we'll do it again. Yeah. So
right. Yeah. Flexibility.
That's right.
So let me ask you, Mike, as a leader, what are some principles that you really live by? Like in your opinion, what makes a great leader?
I think you have to kind of raise up your eyes on stuff to really make sure that you see everything in your organization. I think you have to be aware of your surroundings and, who's on your team and what's really, pain points within the organization. I think you have to listen, and I think you have to take action. And I think even if you make some mistakes along the way, I think you have to drive your teams and your business forward. And I think those are essential for leadership from my perspective. I think you also have to be an owner, right? You're a business owner, right? So in each of my teams and each of my, my manager positions, I look for those folks that really want to lean in and own their outcome. So they each run a small business from my perspective, right? And so I think, employee first, employee engagement, kind of critical successes that I look for in leadership.
And I love that you've said listen and action, but in order to listen, people have to have a voice. And it sounds to me like on your team, as well as T-Mobile, that people have a voice.
Absolutely.
Right. No, that's exciting. So last but not least, are you hiring? Is T-Mobile hiring?
Yes, we've a commitment to as part of this deal combination that we are hiring. So my organization has open positions as well, but we are expanding into many different parts of the country. So I think almost every aspect of our business is growing. Retail channels, T-Mobile for Business has a huge initiative to drive some of those synergy numbers that we talked about, but they're aggressively in the marketplace seeking new business opportunities. So I think it's a great time to join T-Mobile. Plenty of opportunity, and I think we're still in very we're a big and a large corporation, but we feel and operate like we are still small and hungry. That's a really unique atmosphere to be in. Really exciting for us as leadership to energize folks come into our teams with different perspectives.
Right place at the right time. It sounds like it's an adventure for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for being on the show today. This has been fabulous. I could talk to you, but I really appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thanks, Carrie, for having me.
You take care.